Hannigan, Deputy Murphy.
Thank you,
5 minutes.
Count Corda. I'd probably just like to say to the two deputies on the far side of the House, or three deputies, that Mark Twain, a very wise man indeed, said there's only two certainties in life, that are death and taxes. Great strides have been made in recent years to combat the once rampant black economy in Ireland. Likewise, thanks to the Minister for Social Protection, Joan Burton, she has made great progress has been made in recent months to combat social welfare fraud. When one studies the established practice of hiding black market cash in foreign bank accounts in the past, one wonders how this small island ever survived at all. I am therefore pleased that, in spite of the huge challenges inherited by this government, that these challenges are being met by head-on and by fairness. It is interesting to note that as revenue closes off one tax avoidance or evasion loophole, some genius comes up with an alternative. Agency locums, phony self-employed status or abuses of company law are replacing expert cash exporters. Underreporting or non-reporting of income will always be with us. Tax collecting will always be unpopular, but most people accept that if everybody pays fairly and accordingly to their means, then their contribution to the common good is worthwhile. Nobody likes paying taxes, but like social protection, it is a noble and humane concept of supporting those who, through no fault of their own, must rely on the generosity of their fellow human beings when they fall through the net of hope. That is why I agree with the independent small and medium-sized enterprises who believe that the shadow economy is now costing the state $5 billion in lost taxes. Moreover, with tax-compliant firms being undercut by rogue operators, Ismay says hundreds of legitimate businesses are under threat. As one who campaigned in the last general election on the three platforms of jobs, reform and fairness as my priority, it is fitting that I should show my support for this government's initial effort to put those noble aspirations into practice. The programme for government, as expressed in Minister for Finance Michael Noonan's budget, is a commendable first attempt to correct the shameful misuse of government's power throughout the past decade. In this time of public demands for instant answers, fuelled by simplistic pundit demands in the media and elsewhere, the Irish economic vessel has sometimes resembled a battleship. And I agree with Michael Noonan when he said, this finance bill is a further step towards economic recovery and regaining our fiscal autonomy. The primary purpose of Budget 2012 is to support the creation of jobs in the short, medium and long term, while reducing the deficit to support a sustainable economy. On jobs, already this year the government has restored the minimum wage, not increased tax for working people, reduced VAT on the tourist sector, ring-fenced 20 million for long-term unemployed initiatives, maintained core social welfare, including pensions and job seekers' allowances, maintained family income supplement, carers and disability entitlements. Key decisions were made in the area of reform also, reducing pay for Taoiseach and ministers, changing pay and conditions for senior civil servant and public servants, and also tackling the thorny issue of reforming the public service. On fairness, the recovery burden must be shared equally. That's why I welcome not reducing any weekly social welfare payments, having biggest budget spend on health, education and social protection, removing 330,000 from having to pay universal social charge, putting social solidarity at the forefront of the budget process. And on a personal level, Count Corda, I'm delighted that the government is tackling the murky business of fuel laundering. Since becoming a TD, and in deference to those who pay their taxes, I'm delighted that revenue will be given more robust powers to combat attacks on the livelihoods of those threatened by unfair competition. And I note from the attached list of Finance Bill measures that a comprehensive attack will now be applied by the Revenue Commissioners on the subversive element who illegally operate here and in Northern Ireland. Their activities have not only ended legitimate family businesses, but also have threatened water tables and public health, compromised the environment and endangered food, agriculture, food chain and industry. And I strongly commend the Finance Bill 2012 to this House. Thank you, Count Corley.